Week 3 of the Freezer Pantry Meal Challenge, hosted by Three Rivers Challenge. I'll leave a link below where you can find some more information on this great challenge. So this week I'm finishing up cleaning out that little freezer in my refrigerator. So I pulled out stewed beef, hamburger, chicken tenders, turkey and meatballs, frozen veggies, canned green beans, egg noodles, sweet potatoes, cheese and bread. So day 1, I made a big pot of vegetable beef soup, grilled cheese sandwiches. So here is the stewed beef meat, and I think I rescued it just in time from being freezer burned. So I'm going to take that out. I've got a package of my frozen tomatoes that I grew in the backyard, some odds and end packages of vegetables, one potato, some lentils, and 2 cans of beefy mushroom soup. So in a big pot, I am just browning up the stewed beef meat that I cut into tiny bite-sized pieces. And in the soup pot, I have that package of tomatoes boiling, and I'm going to add in 2 cans of beefy mushroom soup. I absolutely love this soup. I buy it by the case on Amazon, and it is so delicious. There is the browned meat, a half a cup of lentils, the frozen veggies, and the potato cut up in small bits. So I brought this to a boil, and then I just did it a low simmer until the potatoes were nice and tender, and it was delicious. We ate this up in one meal, didn't have any leftovers, with some grilled cheese sandwiches. So we're on to day 2. We had Parmesan crusted chicken tenders with sweet potatoes and speckled butter beans. So in the freezer, I pulled out 2 individual packages, one of chicken breast, one of chicken tenderloins. I've got a package of speckled butter beans I put up this summer from the garden. And then I have some cured sweet potatoes. We're just going to make a sheet pan dinner with these. It's very easy, doesn't take long. I just cut up that chicken breast into tenders. And then I'm oiling a sheet pan that's been lined with aluminum foil. I have added some salt and lemon juice to that chicken. And in this bowl, I have about a cup of mayonnaise, and I'm adding about a cup of Parmesan cheese. And I'm just going to mix this all together. Now once I have it mixed, I just take each little strip of chicken and I dip it in and coat it very well on both sides, and then I lay it over on the sheet pan. It's a little bit messy, but it is so delicious. Now, after I've got all my chicken coated and put it on the sheet pan, got my oven preheating at 400. Then I'm going to take a knife and cut up all that sweet potato into little bite-sized chunks. So the chicken tenders and the sweet potato will cook together in a 400-degree oven. Now here you can see I'm cutting these up. They're raw and bite-sized pieces. Put them in a Ziploc bag. And then I'm going to be adding in some olive oil and salt and pepper. Now I buy these in a 50-pound box from my local farmer's market, and they will keep all winter. And sometimes I'll can the ones that look like they're about to sprout, but most of the time these will last me all winter, and they are so delicious. So now I'm sprinkling in some pepper and some salt and some olive oil. I'm going to give this a really good shake, and then I'm going to pour it over beside the chicken on the sheet pan. Then I put this in the 400-degree oven and cook it for 30 to 40 minutes. You can look at it and see about when it's done. The chicken is really, really tender, and the sweet potatoes will be tender when it's complete. Now, if you're a broccoli fan, you could toss some broccoli, and that would be even better. That's all there is to it, to this Parmesan crusted chicken tenders and sweet potatoes. And this was a delicious meal. I cooked the butter beans in a nice ham broth, and look how tender that meat is. You can just cut it with a fork. It is very, very delicious. This is one of our favorite meals. I love sheet pan meals because then all you have to do is take the foil off the pan and you're all clean. So day 3, I had cooked a turkey and pressure canned it. So we had turkey and pastry, green beans, and some cranberry sauce that I also canned that day. So in my stock pot, I have 8 cups of the turkey broth that I got off the bones. I've got a box out of the freezer of the old-fashioned flat dumplings. And then I have, these are nice and pre-made. All you have to do is dump them in. I have a jar of my canned turkey meat and then a can of cream of celery soup. So in the stock pot, I'm going to empty that can of cream of celery soup. That gives it a nice flavor and kind of thickens up the turkey broth. And check and taste for salt before you add any, because there's a lot of salt in the soup. And then I'm pouring in that 1 jar of canned turkey meat. And that's why I so love to pressure can turkey meat, because you can do so many things with it. And this is one of our favorite meals, is turkey and pastry. So after the broth boils, you got to have a nice steady boil. I'm going to add in the frozen strips of the pastry. And these were in the freezer from back in the fall when I bought these to make turkey and pastry. And I want to use these all up in the freezer. So I'm going to use the rest of this box. It's about a half a box I'm putting in there. And then you just cook this kind of on a medium low boil until the pastry strips are nice and thick. Probably 25 minutes. And then here is the turkey and pastry, and it was so delicious. I opened up a jar of my canned green beans, and then I opened up a jar of the cranberry sauce. So that was a delicious meal. Now on to day 4. We had hamburger in the freezer I needed to use, so we decided to have chili and chips. Chili's always an easy meal. I just use one of my canned jars of tomatoes. Got hamburger, a frozen bell pepper from the garden, an onion, 2 cans of beans, and then a chili seasoning mix. Such an easy thing. Everybody knows how to make chili. Just brown up the hamburger, onion, peppers. Add in the jar of tomatoes, the beans, and I served these with tortilla chips topped with shredded cheddar cheese. Yum. So on day 5, I had a package of the frozen meatballs that we did not get to use over the Christmas holidays, and instead of barbecue sauce or tomato sauce, I went with Swedish meatballs, and this was a delicious recipe, the first time I ever made it. And I just threw everything in the crock pot. It takes milk, beef broth, cream of mushroom soup, a little bit of nutmeg, and then sour cream at the end. But it was a delicious dinner. I served this over egg noodles out of the pantry, and we loved it. Everybody loved this meal, so I'll be making that one again. And then, of course, on day 6, we eat leftovers from the whole week. Okay, for 2 weeks we've been eating out of this freezer, and I want you to see what a difference it looks like now. When I open the door, stuff don't fall all out on the floor. It is great. I love this challenge. So let's look inside the freezer. What a big difference in 2 weeks. I'm just down to some grandbaby snacks right now. Just a few vegetables, some breaded okra, some sausage wraps, pumpkin butter, and then on my meat shelf I have 1 pack of sausage. I'm going to make an egg and sausage quiche with that. Pork roast I will cook, and I have some fish. Then down in the bottom I've got quite a bit of cheese in bags, and I'm going to be making some homemade pizzas with that next week. So overall, for the past 2 weeks, we've eaten very well, gotten a lot of good menu ideas, and I really am enjoying meal planning and getting a lot of this food eaten before it goes bad. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you got some good ideas. Please leave me a comment below if you have any questions about any of the recipes. And as always, have a very blessed day, my friends.